In today's video, I'd like to talk about what I believe is one of the most underrated teams in the National Football League. I full-heartedly believe that this team can make the playoffs for the first time since 2016. And I know a lot of you are going to think I'm crazy for saying this, but I'm talking about the New York Giants. And to be more specific, I'm talking about how I think the Giants are going to break out this season. But before I get into that, I'd like to bring something up. Only a very small percent of the people who actually watch these videos are subscribed to the channel. So if you enjoy this content and want to see more just like it, make sure to drop a like and leave a sub. And now that that's out of the way, let's get into the video. The Giants finished in second place in the NFC East last season with a 6-10 record. And unlike seasons prior, they were fighting for a playoff spot up until week 17, but barely fell short to Washington. And if it weren't for the Eagles resting their starters week 17 against the football team, there likely would have been a different outcome for the division last year. But now let's stop the hypothetical game and get on to the real talk, which is to review the moves that the Giants have made so far, and the changes that they will need to make going forward to be playing postseason football next year. The first thing I'd like to talk about is one of the more recent things the team has done, and that of course is hiring Joe Judge to be their head coach, which ended up being the best decision the team could have made. He's been everything that they could have asked for in a coach, and the production on the field has shown that. And I think once the Giants finish with a winning record this season, he'll get the respect and credit he actually deserves. And to move on from that, I'd like to talk about the free agency moves that the Giants made. And the first one that comes to mind was signing Kenny Golladay. He'll be a great weapon for Daniel Jones, and especially to pair along with guys like Shepard and Slayton, this team will finally have a competent wide receiver core. In his last fully healthy season in 2019, he finished the year with 1,190 yards and 11 touchdowns. And if he can put up anything like those numbers he did years prior, the Giants will finally have a number one wide receiver. And the next free agency move I'd like to talk about is the team signing Adoree Jackson. He's a highly aggressive corner who will pair along great with James Bradberry and Logan Ryan. The main issue for Jackson in the past was staying on the field, and I think if he can stay healthy, the Giants will not regret giving him all that money. And to move on from that, I'd like to talk about the Giants' amazing draft class. They brought in a couple of big name guys like Kadarius Toney, Aaron Robinson, and Ellerson Smith, which these picks helped strengthen their already great defense and added more depth to their wide receiver core. It does suck to see the Eagles steal Devontae Smith from them, but I don't think that they'll be too upset with Toney. And to elaborate on the Giants' defense, I think it has potential to be the best in the league. Of course, we already talked about some of their secondary guys, but another couple names that make this defense special is Leonard Williams and Blake Martinez. And of course, I'd like to talk about Patrick Graham, their defense coordinator. According to ESPN, he led the Giants to have the 12th best defense last year, and with all these new names in the house, I bet they'll be even better next year. And now that I've talked about the Giants' strong suit and their defense, I'd like to talk about their weakness and their offense. And the issues last year all started at quarterback Daniel Jones. Or should I say his turnover issue. He threw 10 interceptions to go along with the 6 lost fumbles last season. And the one excuse I can use for this is his lack of weapons until the offseason. All of last year, the Giants were missing their top 5 running back in Saquon Barkley, and that really took a toll. When your best option was Sterling Shepard to get the ball to, you know you had an issue. But now that they should have a healthy Saquon Barkley and Kenny Golladay to add on top of that, some of the offensive troubles should be resolved, but that only is if Daniel Jones can step up his play. We need to see major growth from him this season, or he likely won't get a second contract with the team. But I fully expect Daniel Jones to be one of the most improved players this season. And that's the main reason why I'm so confident in this New York team. But another reason I'm confident that they can make the playoffs is the fact that they're in the worst division in football. The real only competition they have is the Cowboys, and even then we haven't seen Dak throw a football in almost a year. But let's say hypothetically the Cowboys do win the division. It's not the end of the world for the Giants. With teams like the Saints, the Lions, and the Bears all downgrading their rosters this offseason, the Giants could sneak into a wildcard spot, which is exactly what I predict them to do. I have the Giants going anywhere from 8-9 to 10-7 this season and barely sneaking into the playoffs. They have a relatively easy schedule and a good roster. They just need to tie it all together and win football games. And there's just one last thing I'd like to talk about before I can end this video. And that's the what if I'm wrong. If the Giants do underperform this season, I think it might be time to start looking for other quarterback options. But that only is if Daniel Jones is inefficient once again this season, which once again, I don't think he will be. And that's really all I have to say for today's video. But once again, I do want to say, if you enjoyed this video and want to see others just like it, make sure to drop a like and a subscribe, as it will help me do well in YouTube's algorithm. And drop any video requests you guys have in the... And that's all I have to say today. So thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next one.